Hello again. This is just a follow-up video to the Spyderco. I ran out of time, so I'm just going to do some cutting tasks. I haven't cut anything with it yet. I've only opened it a couple of times really. I've just reset the camera and just to compare it, I've got this little cursor ace. You might have seen before if you've watched some previous videos. Got a decent sharp edge on that I put on. We'll compare this that I've sharpened to brand new out the box Spyderco Kiwi. Right, so I won't waste too much time talking. We'll get on with it. Sorry, I needed to roll up. It's not a spliff, don't worry. It's been a long day. It's just midnight. So it's about the 10th of September or something. A couple of things to mention with this. You can't open it one-handed. There's pretty much no way you're going to open that one-handed. Unless you close it 100,000 times, you know, and oil the joint maybe, it is very stiff. But as you can see, I can push down to there and it still springs back, which is pretty, oh, it's just there it breaks. Just about there it comes back. We said before, I said if you really knock the spine that hard, it's gonna, the worst it's gonna do is squash your finger a little bit and stop into that little groove there. Your finger just stops. Obviously you'd have to hit it very, very hard to go any further than that, but you're still not getting cut by the blade. And if you did want to use it in a emergency situation, if someone was attacking you, you can hold it this way and the same principle applies. It won't close on you and it won't cut your finger. So if you did catch it that way, it's not going to hurt your finger, which is good. I mean, you know, you wouldn't really want, if the other guy didn't have a weapon and you had that and you had a clue what you were doing, you could do quite a lot of damage more than likely, you know. Yeah. Well, we won't go into any of that. That's not really my field of expertise. But I'm quite sure, you know, at a pinch, you know, 2.25 inch of that coming at you, waterproof blade, you're going to be thinking twice, aren't you? Yes, oh, I've mentioned the lanyard hole, and just a minor, it's not really a fault, but just here where it comes up, it doesn't sit 100% flush. I can actually get my nail against it, whereas here I can't. It's nice and smooth and it starts to stick up a bit, but that's just a nothing quibble. You know, you don't want to worry about that. As long as it's, you know, works the way it's supposed to work, you don't need to worry tiny little things like that. Yeah, I'm going to do a video when I've got something on order and I'm going to do something with the scales or with the handle to modify it. We'll see how that goes. I'll maybe do a part 3 of oh, I nearly caught myself then. Actually, I don't know whether you can catch that on the camera. That was from sharpening the other day, and luckily the knife wasn't actually sharp. It had an edge on, but it wasn't sharp. And yeah, it went into my finger. And if it had been sharp, it would have more than likely took the tip of my finger off, which I'm glad it didn't. I was just going to confirm these measurements for you, because I didn't have them to hand in the last video. So the actual cutting edge is 2 inches exactly. So that means the actual blade length from the start of the blade is 2.5 inches. The handle I said was 3 3/8. We'll check that. That is 3 3/8 pretty much, yeah. And the overall length from there to there is 5 5/8. 5 5/8. So just under 6 inches there. 1442 millimeters. The blade is 52 millimeters. Well, 2 inches, it should be 54 millimeters really. It's 52, I think. So yeah, that's a 10 millimeter hole. No, it isn't. That'll be a 7 millimeter hole, won't it? It'll be 7. It'll be 1. And it is a 10 millimeter hole. But yeah, you close it on, keep your fingers out of the way, and it's a gentleman's knife. It's not, it's not a deer hunting knife or a tactical knife, but with a pinch. Right, let's finally get round to see if this has actually got a decent edge on it. I'll put that out of the way just for a moment. Right, first cut out the box. This nice glossy magazine paper stuff. I just have a sip of my coffee. I have got a Spyderco knife, but it's not Spyderco. It's a bird knife. It's the same company that makes Spyderco, but they usually make them from cheaper materials basically, but the build quality is the same, so you're not getting as hard as steel, and you don't get the G10 maybe, or I think this is FRN, I'd guess, FRN or GRN, one or the other. It is hard quality plastic. This is the Cara. So yeah, I have got a Spyderco knife, but it's not Spyderco as such, even though it's the same company. But yeah, I'm in the middle of regrinding this. This was hollow ground, and I've flattened that all down. I've done the same the other side. So I'm in the process of, I'm flattening it to give it a sharper edge basically, but it's still going to have a sturdy edge. So it's not going to be weak. So I'll do a video on that. See what that looks like when that's finished. Right, finally, sorry, I've been waffling again. So let's see how sharp it is. Wow, that's disappointing. It certainly looks to have at least a straight edge, but the Spyderco is supposedly sharp. Okay, that's a bit better. That's not too bad. Out the box. It's definitely cutting. It's not as smooth as I'd like it to be. And by the time I finish with it, it'll be a lot smoother. Because if you look closely, which you won't be able to see on this camera, but you can actually see the grind marks on the cutting edge. You can actually see the grind marks, which you shouldn't really. You can actually see them quite badly that side. Whereas this little knife that I was going to put it up against, as it were, has got a lovely, sharp, smooth, mirror polished edge. Might be tidying up, but this Spyderco out the box, supposedly reputedly is super sharp. It's mediocre. I mean, okay, little push cut, penetration power with the warm cliff. In. I mean, it is push cutting, so it is sharp, but it's not super sharp. As we'll put it up against this one. Just move them out of the way. Let's put it up against this little cursor that I've sharpened. I mean, you can see the difference straight away. You can hear the difference. Whereas this one, yeah, give it another go. I mean, it's cutting, sort of. That's very disappointing. My very first Spyderco. I'm not expecting it to have this super sharp edge on it, and it's average. I mean, this one's nice. So yeah, certainly in the paper cutting test, I'm sorry, but my sharpened edge is, well, astonishingly better than that. I'm very disappointed. I've heard Spyderco is supposed to be the business, even though it is the cheaper model. They did originally do the bolsters was more rounded and shinier, more of a polished finish. The blade was a little bit shorter. The steel was VG10, and it was 5 times the price of it, 4 or 5 times the price of this. So they decided to make it with a cheaper steel, with a slip joint. Oh yeah, the original had a lockback, but this one's just a slip joint. So yeah, they've done a cheaper version of this. I like the warm clip for getting into things. I was just gonna, I've got a bit of paracord, length of paracord. I was just gonna, let's see what it's like on paracord. It should be, at least go through, you would hope. No, that's struggling. That really is struggling to go through. That is not a sharp edge at all, man. Let's try a different part of the blade a bit further down. Give it another chance. I'm giving, quite a lot of pressure onto that, and it does not want to go through. It's barely broken the outer edge. All that force I've put on, it's barely broken the outer edge. That's, yeah, what's wrong? Now, give this knife another chance, a bit further up. It might be sharp somewhere. That's terrible, that is. If I was the sort of man to be bothered, I'd write to Spyderco and tell them to sort their acts out. Maybe I've just got a dud, who knows. But at least give it a chance to slice through, eh? Okay, it can slice through. Although, I don't know whether you can see that, but it isn't the cleanest of cuts. I mean, slicing through is easy enough for a relatively blunt knife. But I'm still having put a reasonable amount of pressure onto that to actually get through. Whereas this one, I mean, I don't even have to cut it to know what it's going to do. This is going to push through quite easily, to be honest. Oh, no effort at all. Look at the clean cut on that. Lovely clean cut. We'll do another one. I mean, I can even with this, just the last 5-6 millimeters of the tip, just right on there like that. Barely got enough blade to cut through it now, and just push, and it goes through. It's not quite as clean a cut as that part of the blade, but I'm not worried about that. And because it cuts a lot easier, I don't need as much of this to grip onto, because I'm not putting as much force. Whereas if you're using this knife, I'd have to fold that over, that much so I can get a good grip on it. But this one, we'll try the belly-ish of the knife, sort of there. Okay, I can't really hold on to that any tighter. No, that's alright. And it should push through. There we go. This one, I'm going to try one more push cut. Fold that up so I've got a good hold on it. I'll try one more push cut, and it just won't go through. We'll try this one again. Just push that, and it's just a little bit of resistance as the blade catches, and then it's just through. It just goes to show a sharp knife that's got a proper sharp edge is safer to use than this, because trying to cut through this, I'm putting like God knows how much forward force on that, and you shouldn't need that much force to cut through something that means it's got a dull blade, and it's it's not doing the thing what it's designed to do. I've always said a knife without a sharp edge is just a piece of metal. It's just a piece of metal. It's not a knife until it's got an edge on it. So yeah, I mean, it will slice through at a push. But this one, I can literally almost hold that with just 2 fingers there and just run it along the blade, and it just slides through. So this needs a lot more work. No question. Needs more work. So I'm going to have to get the stones out and whatnot and see what I can do about that. Honestly, I mean, you can put your finger on there, you can run your finger along the blade and it doesn't do anything. This one, I'm going to be careful, you can feel it gripping. You can feel it gripping into your fingers. This one, I mean, yeah, I'm not going to push hard, but I'll just try this rope. This is a bit thicker than the paracord. I'm not sure if it's harder to cut, but it's definitely thicker. Well, let's see if the Spyderco can cut through, push cut this rope. I reckon this rope, I don't know, paracord's quite strong stuff, so this might be weaker. Let's push cut this. Oh, well, there you go. Let's actually push cut it. That's the result. At least it has got an edge. Yeah. So this is obviously not as hard to cut through as the paracord. But if that goes through that reasonably easily, although I was giving it a decent bit of power, just this one should go through without blinking. Really nice and clean. And if I've got time, check how long we've been going. Oh, 16 minutes, right. Well, we'll leave it there. You can see that the Spyderco's comfortably the weaker knife. I'm very surprised it wasn't a bit sharper. But 10 minutes work, we'll sort that out. Well, I hope someone's enjoyed that. Thanks again for your time, and take care. Bye for now.